Happy full moon in Gemini, everyone. This is a lot. This is literal information overload. You might be feeling exhausted or like your brain's about to pop. It's a lot. It's a lot happening. There are infinite distractions. We must find a way to express ourselves creatively to stem it out, and to remind ourselves that we're not losing our minds. We are just having a upgrade in human form. We are going through a spiritual awakening, an awakening on the planet. I don't even want to call it spiritual, but the completion of a cycle is a full moon. And so it's really interesting. When I was in corporate, I used to have burnout about once a quarter, whether it be physical burnout. I would get, absolutely like down for the count sick, would have to be out for about a few weeks. I remember one day, there was a time that I was like getting ready to go to a donation for a ribbon cutting, and I was, calling my assistant to like pick up the cookies and things, and I was walking around my house and doing too many things at the same time, and I literally stubbed my foot and broke 2 toes and had to limp my way through work. Yeah, I always wanted to wear my slippers to work, so be careful what you wish for. But what I find now, that working as, an astrologer, as a channeler for leaders and entrepreneurs and corporate people that are awakened, that when you flow with the cycles of the moon, when you flow with the cycles of the astrology, you can prevent your burnout, because you have once a month to release and to give things away and to celebrate and to really understand that you can't be going up and up and up without there being a crash fall. When you go with cycles and circles, you complete a cycle and then you move along, and you complete a cycle and then you move along. So if efficiency is something that you enjoy, and enjoying your life and sustainability is something that you're interested in for yourself, your home, your family, your team, your flock, your business, your creative expression, whatever it may be, then you have found the right space. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sarah. I am a channeler and an astrologer. I work with those that have a growth mindset and speak from I statements. Around here, this is my multidimensional cafe, where it's just you and I having coffee at sea, some water, and we're talking about the astrology. And today, my intention is to offer you very accessible information about this full moon in Gemini, this full moon that we have coming up in the sign of Gemini. We are in a time where the sun is in Sagittarius and the moon will be releasing in the house of Gemini, where these are mutable signs. Sagittarius is immutable fire, and Gemini is mutable air energy. We've had Jupiter retrograde in Gemini for a little while, and it has been a little bit of distraction over here. I know I want to do this over here. This is happening over here. Infinite information over here. And we're a little bit bombarded with the intention to confuse us, but at the same time, we have access to infinite information in our little telephones. Infinite information. We are magicians and the map makers, and we can have anything that we want in this world. And so what we focus on will expand. That's just Jupiter in Gemini in and of itself. And we'll put the planets up and things like that. But I want us to really focus on where Gemini and Sagittarius fall in our own birth chart. If this is a little bit too much of your language, I'm going to go over the general astrological wheel, and we're going to go through it step by step. We speak in lenses around here because I wear these big old glasses, and I'm here to help you make sense of a little bit of what's going on, to harness this information, to navigate this energy for your highest and greatest good, for your most authentic timeline. So let's get into it. I think I want to pull you in, get you going up here. I think that's good. Beautiful. So please go grab your coffee or tea, go grab your journal, and I'm going to start off with giving you the dates and times of this full moon. We're going to get into the astrology. Also, as a channeler, if this is your first time here, when I'm talking to you, my guides show me images over here. I have a lot more screens open, more tabs open, if you will. Oh, Jesus, God. Pardon me. Setting things on fire around here. It's the fire starter, Sagittarius energy. As you can see, we're going to talk about the tarot cards that represent this decan of the astrological wheel, and we're going to see what channeled messages come through as well. So, pause the video. You can use the sage for the pause because it keeps going. Pause the video. I know my mom made it so many years ago, and I knew that it needed to be worn today. It just felt like the vibe. It's been green, everything. I have a green smoothie that I'm drinking out of my America's Stonehenge cup. It's not a juice, it's a smoothie, so I'll probably wait to have some of it so I don't get the spinach in my teeth. But let's get started. I'll start with the dates and the times of this full moon, which basically means that everyone on the planet gets a full moon. It's when the sun is in Sagittarius at 23 degrees and the moon, can we see those, is in Gemini in complete opposition. And so for Eastern Standard Time, this is on the 15th of December at 4:01. Melbourne, 15th of December, 20:01. Gold Coast of Australia, 15th of December, 19:01. And Central Standard Time is going to be the 15th of December at 3:01. This is military time. I'm teaching you that. So 4:01 Eastern Standard Time, that's on the AM, and Central Standard Time, that's 3:01, very early in the morning. So this behind me is the general astrological wheel. Starts in Aries, goes all the way around over to Pisces. So this 3rd and 9th axis over here, it's very fascinating to me because the 3rd house is about early learning. It's communication. It's how we learn the boundaries of our communication. Whereas Gemini, the house that runs the sign that runs the 3rd house, is a Mercury run house. Whereas Sagittarius, the sign that the sun is in, is run by Jupiter. These are both very key players in this full moon. Why would you say that, Sarah? Because Jupiter is over here in Gemini at 15 degrees retrograde. Jupiter has been retrograde for a little while now. It's not going to go direct until 2025. Jupiter is our expansive planet. This is so much information. This is a lot of also identity with our intellect. I'm going to try to be really efficient with this video and remind you that the person that you're talking to that has maybe like a different opinion than you or a different reality than you. I was chatting with someone the other day where they were, showing me a music video of something that was so far outside my life, so far outside. And they were like, yeah, this is the world. I'm like, that's your world. That's your world. That's the radio station that you like. It's not the radio station that I listen to. So especially if you're new here, I want to remind you that we speak from I statements at this cafe, at my channel, at the Multidimensional Cafe. Whereas share your life, share your perspective, share your opinion, however you would like. But we don't point fingers at other people that say, you live the life that I want to live. What you're doing is wrong. The way you express yourself is wrong. The way that you talk, the way that you do things is wrong. Just if something is displeasing to you, don't look at it. Don't participate in it. If it's not what you want to create, Jupiter and Gemini alone, what you focus on will expand. In the longer range transit playlists, I have 2 videos on Jupiter and Gemini. Introductory video and then an all signs reading. So there's tons of information about this planet alone. Like I said, Jupiter, Sag runs Jupiter, and we have Mercury, so Gemini run planet in Sagittarius, goes direct this day. It's at 6 degrees. I'm gonna put it to the side. 6 degrees of Sagittarius. We spoke on my Monday live on the 2nd about Mercury retrograde and about how really what I love about astrology is that it's math, history, and patterns. We can look back, see kind of what we were going through, utilize that information here to point our trajectory towards the North Star of our choosing right now, towards the North Star of our choosing. And I feel as though with the North Node at 2 degrees, it's at 2 degrees and 22 minutes during the second that the full moon is a full moon. So 222 is a very important number. So North Node will be in Aries and the South Node will be over here in our descendant sign in Libra. This is like getting to the ascendant sign of the entire astrological wheel. This is a big deal. It might just feel as though you're being squeezed, that you're being pushed, like you're trying to, you're the pimple that's getting popped right now, and that you cannot even, how do I say? I spoke in my December introductory video about team. I spoke of my Sagittarius season introductory video about this is the Wild West. Wild, Wild West. So who would you, drop this in your journal, who would you get in a covered wagon with and go out west with in your life? Who do you want in your bunker? Who's on your team? Who's got your back? Who do you not want to be in a dugout with? Really be aware of that. This community is going to be of the utmost importance going into 2025 and navigating 2025. I have an entire workbook for 2025. I have an all signs reading for 2025 where we go over in depth, like 25 to 45 minutes for each sign, the key dates of the year. The links for all of those is below. I have so many resources for you to really understand this energy and to harness it. I want you to reel it back into right here and now. Focus on what is your North Star. My guides are talking to you. So whatever's been coming up, they want to break it down into chunks. Whatever you are working towards in bite-sized pieces, whatever you are working towards in the beginning of November 2024, whatever seeds you planted for that new moon in Scorpio at 9 degrees. And then from that period until the time you're watching this video, what were you really focused on? But you're like, I didn't do a single thing differently. I didn't do anything different. I knew what I wanted to do, but I was just sitting there waiting for it to happen, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't shift my mindset. I didn't shift my habits. I wanted to lose weight, but I didn't go to the gym. I wanted to, start going to yoga, but I didn't go to yoga. I wanted to, have this new thing, but I didn't do the new thing. Or I wanted to stop doing certain things and I continued to do them. That was me. I speak from I statements where I set intentions to do more all signs readings, to kind of pull back on all the other things, and to put more into what really resonates with all of you. Like, I get all of your messages and I get all your comments and I appreciate them so much. So I want to offer you what you take the most from, and when you can harness and you can empower yourself for your greatest trajectory. That's my intention, is to offer you accessible tools. But I didn't do that. I stayed the course. And so I really was guided during this Mercury retrograde to use my given name, to offer more all signs readings. I have one for the Mercury retrograde that you can watch. I have an entire membership group for all signs readings for the season ahead where we go over every single key date. That's in my all access membership group as well. So you have so many places and spaces to really receive what it is that you've been asking for. My guides are saying, with all that being said, what is it that you're doing with the information that you've been given? And I talked about this a little bit ago, where I can go from podcast to podcast to podcast to podcast to podcast. And I'm like, information, great, this resonates. And I'm sitting there and I'm clapping. And I'm like, get it, queen. Yes, I believe in you. And then when I'm finished with the podcast, I'm like, what's the next podcast? It became my addiction, the intel. Yeah. Instead of doing something about it and showing up and changing the mindset and repeating the same thing into my brain until it becomes mastery, until it becomes the knowledge. So I would really love for us, and definitely infinite information of just Sarah alone, the Monday video that I did talking about Mercury retrograde, I want you to really look at what was coming up for you at the beginning of November, what was coming up for you at the beginning of December when you really didn't shift anything about it, and I want you to release in just that bucket. I want you to have blinders on for just this area of your birth chart, just the Gemini and the Sagittarius area. I want you to really stay within this area and say, I am going to focus on this until it is completely common in my brain, and then I can move on to something else. And trim the fat. What did I write down? Don't take the bait. Yeah. Trim the excess, distractions, information overload. There's going to be infinite information for you when you turn on your phone, when you open up your social media, And it's starting to physically affect us. I'm having a full body chill to the point of, I feel as though a lot of this is going to be mental, because it's like Aries is the head, that squeeze. Gemini is the arms. I know we have a ton of stuff happening in Pisces, which is the feet. So there's a lot of this squeeze going on. And I want us to really sink into the heart right now. Why would you say that, Sarah? I want us to really lean on the Mars, which is in Leo, retrograde at 5 degrees. This is in a trine to Mercury, which is the ruling planet of this full moon. I know that this is a lot of information. I'm aware, but just sit back and listen. Just sit back and listen. You could watch this 1 or 2 times if you would like, but really, if you want to be, if you take nothing else from me from this point on, just know that you're going to be mentally, physically, emotionally, anxietily activated, and there's going to be way more information than you can ever ingest and digest. So choose your path, choose it wisely. If you'd like to really harness the full moon, choose exactly where third decan of Gemini is, or the Gemini Sagittarius axis, and that's all you need from this video, and you can move on. I'm going to offer a lot more validation if you would like it, but if you want to really tap out now, just know you're going to be bombarded with information. Focus on the Gemini area and the Sagittarius area of your chart, and make it mastery. Pick one. I talked about this in the live. Pick one meditation. This is subconscious and unconscious programming that we're rewiring right now. And when you're distracted, it's kind of like, how do I say? The image that I'm getting is you are trying to study for an exam. And instead of going to the quiet library or the cafe to study, you're going to the nightclub. And you're setting up at a table at the nightclub where everyone is drinking and partying and dancing and grinding. And it's like, it's good music on, like you got some Ludacris going, and it's good times. But you're trying to study and you cannot study. So try your best to stay focused and understand that, especially when you're having your spiritual awakening, their FOMO is real. That is part of what happens. We're like, I'm gonna miss out on the party. I'm gonna miss out on the whole thing. Good. I forget if you know the channeler or the astrologer or the light worker that says this. It's the joy of missing out. We're like, I'm so excited. Where I'm gonna wake up with a calm nervous system, a nice healthy gut. I'm gonna wake up, I'm not gonna have a hangover. I'm gonna feel really great about myself. I've written out my gratitudes and my intentions. I've done my skincare routine, and can't have a bad day. When you are a leader, let's speak corporate for a minute. When you are trying to build your own business as an entrepreneur, and you're waking up early, you're hustling, you're doing your morning routine, you're doing your thing, you gotta really go through your Rocky montage for a few months, few years, and glow up. It's kind of like you hustle for a little bit so you can have leisure later on. Same type of mindset. But when you blend those two worlds, my guy, efficiency. It's happening a lot quicker if you start to flow with the cycles of the planets. Truth. Okay, so Mars retrograde, trining Mercury going direct. Trines are like your yes friends. So Mars, I wrote down softness. Like if somebody is living in a different reality than you, just let them. Instead of being like, oh my God, girl, you got like green all over your face and you're weird, be like, that's it. Yeah, no engagement needed. Nothing. You don't have to tell somebody that they're strange. I'm pretty aware that I stand out, so you don't have to remind me. I'm cognizant of it, and it's on purpose. So I'm just saying that. So, what else do we have? There's no other aspects that are being made, so I'm just going to put everyone down. We have Chiron at 19 degrees retrograde over here. I have Lilith at 18 degrees in Libra. We're going to have that opposition that I talked about in the All Signs reading for Sagittarius season. That's available if you join my membership group, or you can just buy it as a one-off. It's completely up to you. But we go over in my All Signs style all of those key dates that I talked about in the Sag season video. Wow West. What else do we have? We have Venus this is another key moment that I wanted to talk about. So Venus, again, the softness is coming to be. Venus is in Aquarius at 9 degrees during the moment of this full moon. Why is that important, Sarah? Because in January 2025, we have January 29th, and I follow the mean nodes and the mean Lilith. That might be new to you. It doesn't really matter, but just for astrologers that follow like the intricacies of astrology, I follow the mean, just so you know. And so Venus is at 9 degrees of Aquarius. That is an important place. On the 29th of January, we will have a new moon that day, the same day that the North Node and the South Node are shifting signs, the North Node going into Pisces and the South Node going into Virgo. This is a key area. This is a key place. Venus is going first. What do you mean by that, Sarah? So, and I talk about this in my astrology guide, where Venus, usually, inner planets are Venus, Mercury, and Mars. They usually hang out together. Mars is retrograde over here, as we can see. Mercury is hanging out with the sun, and Venus is going first. Venus is our yin planet. It's our lovely planet, the feminine, the divine feminine within all of us. Venus in Aquarius is about community, friendships, and wishes for the future. The Aquarius, in my perspective, they're the little aliens of the zodiac. You best be spearheading towards something. My natal Venus is in Aquarius, so it's like, yeah, you gotta have mission. You gotta be on mission. Truly. You gotta have something you're doing and helping out. Pluto's in Aquarius over here, the age of Pluto in Aquarius. I'm an all signs reading for that. Literally infinite Sarah information alone for you. But this is fascinating to me, that the moment of this full moon is the moment that Venus is at the very specific point of the new moon in January where the nodes switch signs. Even if it's irrelevant about the new moon, but I love patterns. My brain follows patterns. Thank God for my TISM. I wouldn't be able to function in 15 different universes all at the same time. And I just look at charts and I'm like, thank God for a splash of the TISM. This is so poignant. Venus is saying to me during this full moon, releasing specific mindsets, specific addictions, specific communities, releasing it and being grateful that you had it. You buy the flowers, you buy the bouquet, even though you know they're going to die. We came to this earth to experience life and then die. We aren't forever. Nothing is forever. So if you're having these distractions, if you're having these moments, if you're having those, like literally when you're scrolling and you're overwhelmed with information and all that's happening, remind yourself, this is a little morbid. You're going to die. I'm going to die. It could happen at any second. Nothing is promised. Tomorrow isn't promised. The next breath isn't promised. Nothing is promised. So there's a Cat Williams that I saw. It was a little clip, changed my whole life, where he's like, if you take nothing else from anything I've ever said, go to bed each day saying, that's it. Did it. I did everything I needed to do, everything I wanted to do. I lived it to the fullest and I'm done. And that's it. Like, expect it. If you expect to die at the end of each day, if you expect that this is the only day that you have, the power of now, coming back to presence, if you want to go a little gentler, like literally everything is in this moment. This connection with you and I across time and space, that's all that exists. So if you're sitting scrolling, that's everything for you. If you're sitting overeating, if you're sitting being jealous, if you're sitting worrying, it could be an addiction. It can be an addiction. We talked about that on the live. We talked about that for a few signs in the Mercury retrograde all signs reading, that we can literally get addicted to worry, lack, and being in fight or flight. A, because it comes from our generation, our family line, and that was imprinted into our brain, into the computer that is our brain. And B, it's because it gives us familiarity with the people around us. Yeah, because it's nice to have someone to talk to, even though you're commiserating, instead of having to better yourself and develop yourself and then enter the room that you're supposed to be in. It's easy to do that than to stay focused. So What's interesting, there's a few of you out there, this is just coming to me, that I would like for you to reach out to someone that you maybe look at as a mentor or someone that you look up to, and ask them, say, I want to take you out for coffee. I want to pick your brain. I really do. I really do. And I would love to really just understand you a little bit. I want you to step a little bit outside of your comfort zone and ask someone, can I take you out for lunch? Can I take you out for coffee? I would really love to just spend some time with you. Someone that you look to that is living a life that you deem to be something that you want to integrate into your own. I would say really make some plans to do that around the 15th. That's a Sunday, so maybe plan it for the 16th to the 20th. The solstice is on the 21st, so I'd say reach out during the time that the sun is in Sag season, and then like have the tea, have the coffee when the sun is in Capricorn. Okay, I'm just going to put everybody down so we can look at it as a whole. Neptune is at 27 degrees of Pisces. It will be at that degree the entire month. It just went direct on the 7th, so it's going to be at 27 degrees the entire month. Saturn is at 13 degrees over here, and Uranus is in Taurus retrograde at 24 degrees. This is everybody. The ascendant sign, the self, public life, and shared collaborations or how you're known, pardon me, relationships over here, and the roots of the tree of your life, cultural family roots. I want to really highlight that this is the house of early learning, neighbors, communication, short trips, things like that. So there might be some patterning that comes up around sibling order, or whatever energy that you wear like the mask. What do you mean by that, Sarah? You know when you go home to your family's house and, all of a sudden your, uncle believes something differently than you, and you just like, you see him like 3 times a year. Why does he bother you? Because you have known him for so long that there's a familiarity, there's a comfortability there, and you say, you have to believe what I believe. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Why do you care? There's a lot of acknowledgement, and I feel as though this is going to unlock something for all of you, for a lot of you. There's an acknowledgement, and it's gross when you're like, I've been dating my like, you remind me now of my father, and I'm processing my inner stuff, and all of a sudden I recognize that I made you this version that I don't like anymore, but you were just like my father, you're just like my mother, and now we gotta divorce because we gotta separate because I can't do this anymore. There's going to be also friendships that represent sibling order to you. There's going to be certain things that have been, I'm hearing also a lot of you that have been in that either fawn or freeze. Fight, flight, fawn, freeze. Yeah, whomever really just like, you're going to maybe have an outburst. And I know that there's been some subscribers that have been commenting about, I've been setting healthy boundaries. It was scary. I cried through it. There's a version of communication that you're coming to have where you're like, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. It's really not. It's just shifting paradigms. We're really just shifting paradigms. And paradigms, it's a set of belief systems and a set of habits that keep you at a certain frequency. What is a frequency? It's like a radio station. It's, I'll highlight the work of Bob Proctor, Aaron Lines, I think that's it for mindset, for paradigms that I don't want to overload you with information, but those 2 channelers are incredible. And they speak of that, where it's just because you're listening to a certain radio station doesn't mean the other ones aren't available. They're all playing. It's just you're not listening to them, and you can choose to listen to something else. So I don't want any of what I'm saying to be overwhelming to you. I want you to recognize that this can happen in the unconscious and the subconscious. We don't have to figure everything out. Because Mercury is a ruler of this, and because this is such Cancer and Cap, this is the house of the mother and the house of the father. This is siblings. This is how we learned the boundaries of our communication. So we're releasing that attachment to the way that we learned that information. We're releasing attachment to, if I say something, the mother or father out there or the sibling out there is going to make me feel smaller. I also want you to be very cognizant of the people that you can share your wins with. That is something that is very important, and it's a smaller group. I saw a little video, it was a little reel of Simon Sinek, incredible thought leader, where he said, you know the people that you can call when you're like down and out, and you're like, I need help. But the people that you can call when you're winning, those are your people. Those are important people. And Simon had referenced that list is a lot smaller than the people he can call when he's having a tough time. Even as you're ascending, even as you're going through all that you're going through, these people, the people that you surround yourself with, they will determine your trajectory. So this is a perfect time to release attachment to people, release attachment to certain communities, and step boldly into new communities. Reach out to the new people that you want to be spending your time with. Let them know. And reminding yourself that a no is a resounding yes. What do you mean by that, Sarah? Say there's someone in your community that you don't like. We know that keeping them in our lives is very egoic. It's saying, I'm going to play God and I'm going to keep you in this area small by my thoughts of you being small, because I don't want you to go find your people. I want you to stay with me and make me feel better about myself by being at my table. And so I know that was way harsh, Ty. I'm sorry, but it's a real thing. So when we say, I need to end this friendship or move along with my life, that's saying I'm creating a safe space at my table for the people that are meant to be there. I'm also honoring you as an equal soul, Pluto and Aquarius, equal, no better than, no less than me. And I want you to have your community in the same way that I have mine. Their reaction to you is none of your business. You speaking from that authentic space is imperative, is necessary. You cannot lie anymore. We can't. We just can't. I really want to keep this a little bit shorter than the other ones. So I'm going to offer the tarot cards that represent this decan of the astrological wheel. It'll give a really interesting view on things. So this is third decan of Sagittarius, and this is third decan of Gemini. This is 20 to 30 degrees, 20 to 29 degrees of Sagittarius, and this is 21 to 29, 30 degrees of Gemini. These are very intense cards, And so reminding yourself not to overload yourself and to not tell the story over and over and over. It takes one sword to kill a man. This is mental anguish. This is all the little stories that we've labeled on the lapel of like, oh, if I do this, they're going to do this. If I do this, they're going to do this. If I'm going to do this, they're going to do this. Dude, the first few times that I put paint on my face and I was, doing my art expression, the way that I create is I put paint on my body and then I kind of roll on the canvas or I make it with my body. It's like anything but the what do they call it? Paintbrushes. Because as a channeler, the energy channels through me and then saturates onto the canvas. And that's how I create my healing canvases, which I use for my healing purchases, the healing channels that I put out, which there will be one to purchase for this full moon. That channel is also available in my All Access membership group. I also have a membership group just for the full moon healings. This is time to integrate some passive healing into your life. This goes into the unconscious and the subconscious. And when I speak light language and I channel the guides, that's you receiving in an energetic way, where your brain can just kind of like take a pause and not have to figure it out. So I love that these are the cards that really, because it offers again some validation that it's a lot, dude. This is a lot. Yeah, this is mutable energy, mutable fire, air energy, man. How y'all function? I'm on a fixed axis. I am a Scorpio rising. And like, even though I'm conjunct Pluto and I have multiple tabs and screens going in my brain, like this is a lot of information. I don't even want to give you these. I feel like that's going to be too much. I really just want to focus here. I've wildly discounted my Tarot Essentials program. I have so much information available for you. Please, definitely, if you're interested in passive healing, please, the link is below for the full moon healing in Gemini. You can have membership group. It's $11 if you'd like it as a one-off, but that's just for you to receive. Healing energy that just channels through me. It's not me. It's just healing energy comes through me. And so they want me to marry you. The guys really want me to marry you. That, again, I came from corporate, dude, and I'm here to help guide people that are either still in corporate, that are leaders in their own right, that are entrepreneurs, that are building their business, that are building their life, that have a growth mindset, that's what I call it, but speak from I statements. Yeah, you're a leader if you're at the grocery store and somebody asks you where the bread is. It doesn't matter what the role, the title that you currently wear is. If you're drawn to my work, you want to utilize this information, not to be like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. To be like, let's do something with this. Let's focus. Let's really like niche down and say, this repeated mental pattern, I'm exhausted by it. What's coming up for me in my life with this energy? I literally said to my higher self the other day, I was like, I'm really bored with this. I'm really tired of this. This is not like, I know where this goes. I know where the cul-de-sac goes. I know what will happen. But until I master this mentally, nothing's going to change. And so all of a sudden, it was as if every single one of my spirit teams like pulled their mirror out of the Mary Poppins bags and they're like, Sarah, you're recognizing that you're the problem and that you're the only one here. Good job, kiddo. It's great stuff. The second that you recognize that you're the problem and that you're the only one with the solution to fix the problem, you will focus every little bit of your energy on it because our lives depend on it. Yeah, how cool is that? The clock tower is telling us it's our time. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being here. Happy full moon. Please join the membership group if you're keen. All signs reading for the season ahead, full moon healing, and we do a monthly coaching call, which is the first Saturday of every single month at 11 Eastern Standard Time over Zoom. It's a really beautiful group, and you are so welcome to join. I would love to hold space for as many people as I can, and we all really support each other. So I love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful full moon in Gemini, and I will see you on the other side of this one. Ciao.